Good evening. I'd like to call to order the Concord Township Board of Trustee meeting for March 4th, 2020. Stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mrs. Dawson, the roll call, please.
Mrs. Lucci.
Present.
Mr. Dondorfer.
Present.
Mr. McIntosh.
Present.
Okay, we need to approve the minutes from the February 19th, 2020 regular trustee meeting.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the minutes as written.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That brings us to the elected officials report. Our fiscal officer, Amy Dawson.
Thank you, Mr. Dondorfer. As of February 29th, we were 17% of the way through the calendar year. The treasury balance for the 18 funds within the township treasury was $5.8 million after posting the advance of the first half of the 2019 real estate taxes. The remainder of the funds will be received in late March or early April. Treasury balance includes $146,086 in funds set aside for specific projects. Year-to-date revenue was 22% of the annual budgeted resources after requesting an amended certificate of estimated resources from the county auditor, and expenditures were 34% of the temporary appropriations, or 12% of the budgeted expenses for 2020 that I'm requesting approval on by the trustees tonight. So we are well within budget. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to call my office at 354-7516.
Thank you very much, Amy. That brings us to elected officials report and the trustees. Mrs. Lucci.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. I would like to mention we did meet with the Lake Health District for a council meeting, and they shed light on kind of their updates with the coronavirus. You can go to their website or CDC for more information, but I think the big takeaways are, of course, wash your hands. If you're around somebody who you think is, could be infected or whatever, and you're having issues, the main thing is if you seek medical care to acknowledge them first so that they can make every effort to contain if it is indeed, if you're infected. Also, I want to mention about our fire station. We did have our first sort of open meeting last Friday. I thought it was a good start to the discussions, and we do appreciate the community input. It does help with informed decision making, so we're here to answer any questions and look forward to our future meetings.
Mr. McIntosh.
Yes, I had fielded two emails directly to me regarding questions about the grocery store, filling the Ryder's location, and I passed on Mr. Rose. I believe the update at this point is there are ongoing negotiations with a potential tenant, but no official announcement as of yet.
That is correct, sir.
So I've answered those questions, and then ended up having some dialogue about development along Auburn and Crowell Road with both those residents, as well as another resident I took a phone call about. Did entertain some facts out on the Nextdoor app, also regarding economic development in Concord Township, along with Chief Sabo, Deputy Chief Terraco, and Administrator Rose. Toured another fire station, and I did have a one-to-one meeting with a resident regarding our fire station project. And I think we all responded to or had a complaint or question about our salting policies.
Right.
So that's about it.
Okay. I would also like to say that I believe we had a great strategic planning meeting for the fire station project. There was a lot of good input, a lot of good discussion. We did have some community input at that first meeting. Our plan moving forward is to be responsible, and I think we have a significant investment with LeMay Erickson, our architect, and we believe that with that investment and that relationship and their commitment to Concord Township, that we're going to move this fire station project forward, and also solicit input at our stakeholder meetings from residents in the community, so we can get this project done sooner than later. So I thought we had a lot of good initial discussions, and we are going to continue to make this a priority. I would also like to welcome our new service director, Tim Brown, who's here tonight at his first trustee meeting. Welcome, Tim. Glad you're part of the team. We will definitely dearly miss Frank, but we're glad you're on board. And with that, department reports, Mr. Rose, administration.
Thank you, Mr. Dondorfer, members of the board, Mrs. Dawson, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Two quick things to cover that are on the agenda this evening. Item D is a vote for a purchase order to enter into a new phase with our fire station architect, LeMay, Erickson, Wilcox. This purchase order will cover evaluating an alternate site along with revised schematic designs and revised design development. This purchase order also includes architects' participation in our stakeholder meetings to be scheduled later. Item F is a vote on the amended amount for the joint road resurfacing project. If you remember, we've already voted on that, but due to some, it's a joint project with 2 other communities, 3 in total, and due to some alternate bids and some road changes, the amount has changed. Our portion did not change, but because we have to vote on the entire amount of $1,025,561.80, we need to vote again. So I encourage passage of that item. We did hear this afternoon that the geotechnical analysis drilling is scheduled. It will be done on Thursday, March 12th. I'm told that's a rain or shine event. It'll take about 4 weeks to obtain the final results, at which time we will provide those. And I don't think we should have the stakeholder meeting until we know if that's a feasible site or not. In addition, I will be attending the National Fire Station Design Conference in mid-May to glean additional information. Other items, the Kellogg Creek Restoration Project, formerly known as the Brightwood Lake Dam Removal Project. That package is out to solicit design bid qualifications. Those packages are due by March 20th to the Lake County Commissioner's Office. Once the packages are reviewed, they will compile a short list, and then they will have the finalists submit a proposal, which will result in the selection of a contractor to perform the design build. We anticipate the design build team to be selected by the end of May and probably get started midsummer with that project. With regards to the cemetery, from the cemetery sexton, a gravesite cleanup is scheduled for April 1st, and that usually takes several days. Please allow 2 weeks due to weather and other circumstances. Please allow 2 weeks to be sure removal has been completed before placing your new decorations on the gravesite. That will allow good protection of your new decorations from being accidentally removed. Items in an urn or a monument or on a monument will not be removed unless the items pertain to a past holiday or they are unkempt. Please contact the cemetery office if you're honoring a loved one 7 days prior to the removal of those items. Also, please understand that if you are placing sentimental items on the graves, they could get lost, stolen, they could get damaged. So if it's something that's very near and dear to your heart, we do not recommend that you place it in the cemetery. Due to Easter falling on April 12th, Easter decorations will not be removed until April 27th to allow a full 2 weeks. The rules and regulations, again, are available at the entrance of the cemetery or online through the Township's website. And you can also contact Karen Warner, who's our cemetery sexton, and her line is 440-354-7518. And then finally, a friendly reminder to everybody, daylight savings time begins this Sunday. So please remember to set your clocks ahead 1 hour on Saturday night or early Sunday morning. That concludes my report. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Rose. Fire Department, Chief Sabo.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. Good evening.
So for the month of February, we had a total of 201 runs. We had 127 EMS runs with 98 transports. We had a total of 9 fire events Inside Concord, we had 1 structure fire, 1 vehicle fire, and 2 cooking fires. Outside of Concord, we assisted in 1 structure fire, 2 vehicle fires, 1 cooking fire, and 1 fire investigation unit call-out. We had given mutual aid 23 times and received mutual aid 17 times. Our Fire Prevention Bureau was out in force, performed a total of 58 inspections, accounting for approximately 99 hours. Of those, 31 passed, 11 passed with comments, 0 passed with discrepancies, and 5 correction notices were issued. There's 9 pending inspections, and this is a combination of consultations and follow-ups on past failures or discrepancies working towards correction and repair. We had 2 failed tests, and the Bureau did 3 plan reviews consisting of approximately 7 hours for submission to the Lake County Building Department. The Bureau had about 10 hours occupied with training and continuing education. And as mentioned previously, we had a mutual aid for a fire investigation. We had 2 Knox box installations and 2 Knox box returns. So as a reminder, we have that available to residents for a small fee. Just a reminder, our open house in conjunction with the Recreation Department's Easter egg hunt is April 4th, though Station 1 will only be the only station open. Station 2 has another event to help with on that side of town, so from 11 to 1:30 on April 4th, Station 1 will have an open house. And just to touch base, thank you, Mrs. Lucci, for your comments in regards to coronavirus. The fire departments in Lake County and law enforcement, we're all working together to come up with, well, to refresh ourselves on plans that are already in place and making sure we're all on the same page as a reminder in terms of response to any kind of virus threat or pandemic. So we're on it.
Thank you very much, Chief.
Thank you very much.
Next is our Service Department. Tim Brown.
Good evening. I'd first like to congratulate Frank Kraska on his retirement from the Service Director here at Concord Township. I'd like to thank also Frank for his help in my transition to Service Director here. He's been very helpful with all the assistance he provided me stepping into the position. For the month of February, the Service Department responded to a total of 23 snow and ice related events and put down about 1,080 tons of salt. In addition to snow and ice control, we've been out making repairs to mailboxes and snow barricades damaged by snow plowing operations. Other activities performed by the department were cold patching of potholes throughout the township, tree trimming in the right-of-way, and Sherrill Drive and Discovery Drive had full-depth crack repairs done. The loose, broken material was removed and replaced with cold patch, then compacted with a roller to make a long-lasting repair. The Service Department will also be working on bids for stone, asphalt, concrete materials for the upcoming season. They're also obtaining a bid for a new plow truck for next year's snow season. This truck will replace one of the older trucks in the fleet. The Service Department was also able to help out with our neighbors in Leroy Township by selling one of our older out-of-service trucks that was going up for auction. As we change seasons in the coming months and the construction season begins, we would like to remind motorists to utilize caution when approaching crews working in the right-of-way. That's police, fire, Service Department, any other construction crews. Slow down and move over, please. The Concord Township Service Department would like to also remind residents that if any concerns, questions, they can contact us at 440-350-3225 or email at www.concordtwp.com. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Next up is our Zoning Department, Heather Freeman.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So during the month of February, the zoning department processed 11 zoning permits and collected just over $3,000 in fees. We also received and began investigations on 4 new potential zoning violations and did 39 inspections on open zoning permit applications. Last night, we had a joint special meeting with the zoning commission and the trustees. The purpose of the meeting was a pre-application meeting for a proposed residential conservation district development. No decisions were made at this meeting. Now the developer can decide to move forward with his application, and at that time, there'll be public hearings if he decides to move forward with the project. We also had our regular zoning commission meeting last night. We did conditionally approve a project for a new medical building that's going to be located on Auburn Road, just south of Capitol Parkway. And we continued our work sessions on our discussions on housing and senior housing and taking a review and look at our existing zoning resolution to determine if we need to make any changes. I do want to mention this year is a very important year with the U.S. Census Bureau is conducting its 2020 census. This is, the purpose of that is to get an accurate and complete count of all the people that live in the United States. Data from that they collect from the census helps determine where federal funds would be distributed within the United States that affect programs such as housing and education, employment, healthcare, and public policy. The data that they also collect is used to redraw boundaries of congressional and state legislative districts and determine the number of congressional seats each state has in the U.S. House of Representatives. So between now and the middle of March, every household is going to get an invitation to participate in the census, which actually I got mine already a couple days ago, so some of you may already. They're going to ask you to respond to the survey. You can do it online, you can do it by phone, or you can do it by paper mail. When you respond to the census, it's based on where you live as of April 1st, 2020, that is Census Day. In May, if you did not respond to the first inquiry, they will start following up with households coming door to door. So they do want you to respond to the survey. It's very important for all of our residents to respond. So when you get your survey, please do your civic duty and respond promptly. And if you have more questions about it or concerns, the Census Bureau does have a website set up for that to answer that. If you go to 2020census.gov, you can find out more information. Thank you.
Thank you, Heather.
Thank you.
Next up is recreation. Deborah Esker.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Good evening, I'm glad you're back.
I would like to begin tonight.
Well, I will say that though, Andy did a phenomenal job.
Well,
I mean, he wasn't you, but
I was-
nonetheless, he did a great job with
In
your
my
report.
notes, I have to give a woot woot to Andy for starting that momentum, and I'd like to keep that momentum going tonight. So Rick, power up that PowerPoint, please, and here we go. Woot woot, Andy. Who's important? You're important. Who's worth investing time in? You are, so make yourself a priority and experience something new this month. In March, the Recreation Department is happy to offer the following classes: martial arts for adults and children, pound, beginning yoga, and yoga Pilates fusion classes. Specifically for seniors, we're offering primetime health classes that provide guidance for healthy choices. The AARP Smart Drivers class, getting started with Medicare, and getting ready for retirement. For kids specifically, we have a Kids and Canvas painting class with a St. Patrick's Day theme, Move and Groove for ages 2 and 3, Princess Ballet for ages 3 to 5, and Hip Hop and Tumble for ages 4 to 6. You can sign up online at concordtwp.com or call the Recreation Department for personal assistance. And our collaboration with the Mentor and Morley Libraries continues this month with 2 fresh new programs. Celebrate St. Patrick's Day with us on March 17th as we learn about hats through the centuries. Don your own or wear an old-fashioned hat provided by the Lake County History Center and hear about the stylish history of hats and the historic Lake County women who wore them. Then on March 24th, experience a different way of making beautiful art with bubble painting. Library Tuesday programs are hosted by library staff, but are held at the Community Center on Auburn Road. And all we ask is that you call the Recreation Department to reserve your seat. Our senior socials this month are visually stunning. Earlier today, our group of seniors went on a field trip to the Willoughby Fine Arts Center and took a stroll down Broadway as they watched a live performance of some memorable Broadway hits. And on March 18th, local photographer Jim Sidlasek will wow us with beautiful pictures from his recent trip to India. New this year, we're offering a monthly bingo program on the 4th Wednesday of each month. Bingos begin at 11 a.m. and they're immediately followed by a free light lunch. This month's bingo program is scheduled on March 25th. Everyone is welcome to attend, and again, all we ask is that you call the Recreation Department to reserve your spot. And it's finally here. It's the sale everybody's been waiting for all winter. Get ready to shop for treasures you did not know you needed. Our wildly popular spring garage sale begins tomorrow, March 5th, and runs through Saturday, March 7th at the Concord Community Center, 7671 Auburn Road. Shop from 8 a.m. until noon each day inside the community center, so the sale happens rain, snow, sleet, or shine. We'll be serving free coffee and donuts while they last, so be sure to stop by, and there's always something for everyone at these sales. And be sure to vote for your favorite pictures in Concord Township's 30th annual photo contest. The deadlines for entries have passed, but we're now in the process of uploading all the pictures and creating the online voting ballot so that residents and friends can select the winners. Online voting begins March 9th and continues through March 20th at concordtwp.com, and the winners will be announced around March 23rd. The photos will be on display at the community center, so you can stop by to vote in person and check them out when you come in for a class or a program or an event. The photos are beautiful. Every year I am continually amazed at the amount of talent in Concord Township, and these amateur photographers come up with these visually stunning pictures, so it really is worth a trip to the community center just to see those photos. And looking ahead to April, save the date of April 4th for the annual Concord Township Easter egg hunt. Meet the Easter Bunny and enjoy some good old-fashioned family-friendly fun. The hunt begins promptly at 11 a.m. at the ball field at Town Hall. Kids will be separated into age categories, so the little ones will hunt with the little ones and the bigger ones will hunt with their peer group. So the hunt is held regardless of the weather. Please be sure to dress everybody appropriately. It may be muddy. Thanks to First Federal Lakewood Bank on Crowell Road in Concord for sponsoring the event once again this year. And as Chief said, immediately after the egg hunt, everyone's invited into Fire Station 1 for an open house through 1:30 p.m. And if you haven't toured the fire station yet, this is a great opportunity to check out the interior of the station and get up close and personal with fire trucks and squads. Chief and I warmly welcome everyone to participate in this beloved community tradition and encourage you to take this opportunity to check out Fire Station 1. Concord Township will celebrate its bicentennial in 2022. In preparation of this momentous occasion, we're collecting Concord history to be used in displays and publications and potentially included in a book about Concord. We're seeking any photos or stories about Concord's past, and we're particularly interested in pictures of early businesses and farmsteads that depict life in Concord in the 1800s and early 1900s. We'd also love to hear your recommendations for people who have lived in Concord that you would consider to be a notable Concord resident. So if you have deep roots in Concord, or if you have pictures and a story to share, please contact the Recreation Department. We would love to honor your family memories. There are many ways to stay informed on township happenings. You can start by reading the printed Grapevine newsletter or subscribing to our monthly email newsletter, the e-Grapevine. You can also download the Concord app and visit our highly informative website. Follow us on social media platforms like Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, or simply pick up the phone and call any department for immediate assistance. The Recreation Department's always interested in resident ideas and suggestions. Please call us anytime to let us know your thoughts. And lastly, I'd just like to take a minute to thank retiring Service Director Frank Kraska for his many years of service to the township. It's been a pleasure working with you and your lovely wife over the years, and you'll be dearly missed. Thank you, Frank. So thanks for your time tonight. And to quote an old Irish saying, because St. Patrick's Day is coming up, may your troubles be less and your blessings be more, and nothing but happiness come through your door. Happy St. Patrick's Day, and thanks for your time.
Thank you, Deborah. Concord Law Enforcement, Sheriff Liam Bruno.
Good evening. We'd like to also congratulate Frank on his retirement. He's a phenomenal individual, and he will be missed. For February, we had 936 calls for service in Concord Township. We handled 2 injury accidents and 16 property damage accidents. We had a number of arrests. We had 2 juvenile males arrested on Auburn Road for disorderly conduct, 1 adult male for disorderly conduct and resisting arrest on Old Johnny Cake Ridge, and a male and a female, both arrested on Johnny Cake Ridge at Marlow, one for possession of cocaine and marijuana, the other one for drug paraphernalia. We handled 69 alarms. Traffic-wise, we gave 189 warnings, 23 citations, arrested 8 people for driving under suspension, and 4 people for driving intoxicated. We did 98 business checks, 57 crime preventions. We have many investigations going. We are investigating a burglary on Mountain Quail Place, 2 juvenile complaints on Old Johnny Cake at Morley, neighbor disputes on Oak Ridge Road, sex offenses on I-90 westbound at the rest stop. We had 3 different shots fired complaints on Fairgrounds, Auburn Road, and on at Cali Drive. We're handling 47 suspicious person complaints, and we're doing a number of things. Right now we're completing and should have up and running an anonymous tip line to the sheriff's office so residents can call in anonymously and report crimes in their area. So we should have that out here next week and be able to report that. We're meeting with some people tomorrow. We'd like to implement a sheriff's office Facebook app for your phones. We use Facebook a lot, but not everybody uses Facebook, but we get out a lot of information. So most people have smartphones today, and so we'd like to have the availability for them to download a Facebook app for the sheriff's office where we can get that information out to them where they don't have to necessarily use Facebook. We are also working with one other company. Hopefully, our concerns is what's out there on the internet today, and a lot with the scams for seniors, but also the trafficking that's going on with our children on the internet. So we're working with a company to develop a program that you can sign into, and it will monitor, and if known predators across the nation tie into your child's emails, Facebook accounts, any of their social apps, it will notify you that this is going on behind the scenes. Not necessarily to read what they're saying, but to notify that those people are preying on your children. So we're going to work on developing that and should have this information out soon.
Great.
Lastly, I'm a history buff. I admire Andy's Ben Franklin socks, but I think Miss Dawson's floral pattern has him beat today. So.
Thank you, Sheriff. We are now to the audience portion of the meeting. If there's anybody that would like to come up to the podium to be heard, I just would ask if you state your name and address for the record. Anybody out there in the audience?
I'll come up.
I was going to call you up, but if you're going to come up,
I've got to get in
make
a
it
couple
easy for
parting
me.
shots. Working for Concord Township has been a really rewarding experience, and I would like to continue doing that, but I thought that it was a real good time now to join my wife in retirement and go out and explore the world a little bit and get involved with some other activities, and hopefully both her and I will both remain in contact with the community and help out where we can at times when it might be needed. So over the last 10 years, almost 10 years that I've worked here, I've got to say that I've never lost focus with the residents of this community. That's what was my driving force throughout that period of time. I always felt that each resident of this community was a stakeholder of making up the fabric of Concord, and it's a great community. The residents that I dealt with always resulted in positive communications. And we were always seemed to be able to, you know, work out an arrangement that was a win-win situation for all of them. So, again, when I was in my first meeting, or my interview, just to, when I started working here and coming from Mentor, I always shared a story is that when I was in that interview, if Aunt B walked in with an apple pie, I wouldn't have been surprised, because I've always referred to Concord as Mayberry, and it's been that way. So it's been a good ride, and I appreciate both the new board, the past board that I worked for, the various administrators and that, and all of my coworkers. I mean, they made it it was a winning team throughout, and it was a joy working with everybody, and a lot of positive results. So,
How many total years, Frank? Total?
oh, with Mentor,
Everything.
45 years.
Wow.
Thank you. And I did want to say that I've been with Tim now for almost 4 weeks now, and I really feel that he is going to, I just was calling him tonight, he's little me.
Yeah.
So, at any rate, he also comes from Mentor. He's drawn from the same fabric that I was, and I think he'll do a really good job for the township and continuing all of the good things that the service department does. So, thank you.
Thank you, Frank.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Frank.
For your service.
Very much.
Okay, moving on. We have no old business, so we will move into the new business portion of the meeting. We are going to vote on the February financial reports.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the February financial reports.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next item on the agenda is Resolution 2020-10, the permanent appropriations, and this will be a roll call vote. Mrs. Dawson.
I am recommending to the trustees that you approve the permanent appropriations this year, $13,102,738.50.
Roll call.
No.
Nope.
I move that to approve the Township Annual Appropriation Resolution for Concord Township of Lake County per revised code section 5705.38 for 2020-10.
I second.
All in favor?
Now roll call.
Okay, now roll call.
Mrs. Lucci,
Yes.
Mr. McIntosh?
Yes.
And Mr. Dondorfer?
Yes.
Thank you.
Item C is a vote for the fire department reclassification of part-time firefighter paramedic Daniel Steck from firefighter 1 to regular part-time firefighter paramedic effective March 1st, 2020.
Mr. Chairman, I move to vote on fire department reclassification of part-time firefighter paramedic Daniel Steck from firefighter to regular part-time firefighter paramedic effective March 1st, 2020.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Chairman, just read this, right? Okay. In follow-up to our staff meeting on Friday, and to which Ms. Lucci discussed our constructive conversation, we discussed moving forward with LeMay Erickson pursuant to our working on developing a budget. I would move that we issue the purchase order to LeMay Erickson Wilcox for Fire Station 1 redesign and other services for an amount not to exceed $305,951.86.
And I second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
I do want to state for the record that that money will be paid for out of the JED fund.
Yes, that will be paid for out of the JED fund, and again, it's, that amount is not to exceed that number listed. You know, if it comes in less, it comes in less. We're hoping it will, but it will not exceed that number.
And I think maybe just to add again on the fact that we have, as a result of the levy that didn't pass in the fall and meeting and deciding that this board deciding it was a priority to move forward with constructing the fire station, is a redesign and taking a look at cost cutting and doing some things to redesign that project, and so we need to spend some money with them to take a look at some new options after discussing in our staff meeting different ideas and setting on the idea of moving towards a budget and having that conversation. We feel confident we can achieve those cost savings by continuing to work with Lemay Erickson, as opposed to going out and looking for a new architect and sort of tearing out the paper and starting from scratch.
Starting to, especially with the cost of construction going up annually.
Yes.
And I think exploring other architects, we would find pretty much the same costs.
Right. Next on the agenda is a vote for Mylar for Quail Hollow number 10, 1A subdivision final plat plan unit development.
Mr. Chairman, I vote for Mylar for Quail Hollow number 10, PH 1A subdivision final plat plan unit development.
Mr. Chairman, I second that motion.
All in favor?
Mr. Chairman, I vote to, or move to award the combined township and village resurfacing project LCE number 2019-15 to Carvo Companies for the amended total of $1,025,561.80.
And I would second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next is a vote for the Service Department permission to advertise for the 2020 stone, cement, concrete, and limestone bids.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we vote for Service Department permission to advertise for the 2020 stone, cement, concrete, and limestone bids.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next is a vote for the appointment of Ray Sines to the JED Board. Mr. Sines, past Lake County Commissioner, great public servant, I think very beneficial to the JED Board, Morgan.
Yes, and for those who don't know, the vacancy was due to term limitation of Mr. Richard Frenzy, who was formerly affiliated with the University Hospital System that's located in the JED, and the appointment that is needed to be made by Concord Township is to somebody who has an affiliation to a business that's located within the JED, and Mr. Sines is a member of the Lake Hospital System Board, and again, I think with his experience as a business owner in the community and as a Lake County Commissioner for a number of years, I think he'd make a great addition to the board, so I'd like to move that we appoint Mr. Sines to the JED Board.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Do you want me to go ahead and read
Yes,
for you?
Mrs. Dawson, thank you.
Okay. Items voted on at the February 28th, 2020 long-range planning and staff meeting. We made a conditional offer of employment to Susan Bobnar, full-time service department administrative assistant at $17 per hour, starting March 16th, 2020, pending completion of new hire paperwork. Mr. McIntosh moved to approve the conditional offer of employment to Susan Bobnar, full-time service department administrative assistant at $17 per hour, starting March 16th, 2020, pending completion of new hire paperwork. Mrs. Lucci seconded the motion. The vote was taken. It was 3 ayes. And then future meetings and announcements.
Please.
On Thursday through Saturday, March 5th through 7th, from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m., Spring Community Garage Sale at Concord Township Community Center will be held. Wednesday, March 11th at 7 p.m., there'll be a Board of Zoning Appeals meeting here at Town Hall. Friday, on March 13th, noon, the landscaping bid are due. Tournament at Town Hall, Andy? Yes.
Here at Town Hall.
Here at Town Hall. On Tuesday, March 17th, please go out and vote and support your community, it's your civic duty, and or if you can't vote on the 17th due to alternative activities, you can go into the Board of Elections right now or request an absentee ballot. On Wednesday, March 18th, from 6:30 p.m., trustee office hours here at the conference room, and at 7:30 p.m., trustee meeting here at Town Hall. And I'm sure that I, along with the trustees, would again like to thank Kraska very much for all of his service, and it has been a pleasure working with you, Frank. And I was at that original interview, so yes, you're absolutely right.
And that concludes our meeting tonight. We will adjourn the meeting. Thank you.
Rick, let me know when the microphones are off.